this evening. In terms of our ground rules, we just ask that you keep your mics muted. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Also, you can also share your questions in the chat room. The presenters will also, if they choose to indicate that they want to have questions fielded to them while they're presented, they will also make this known. And so you can listen out and then ask your questions. But however, we do encourage that you can raise your hand during the presentations, and we will, the administrators will make note of these, the hand raising as well as the questions that you throw in the chat room. So at this time, without any further ado, we welcome Brother Andre Allen Casey to lead this evening's discussion, as well as support by Brother Trevor Smith. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us and to facilitate this evening's discussion. And please go ahead. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you very much, Engel. Could you give me screen sharing abilities, please? Oh, excellent. Excellent. Okay, let me do a little quick recap so that for those who are probably coming on for the first time, we'll see where we're going and what we're doing with this. We're not going to take long on this. Let me forewarn you where that is concerned. I really want to finish today, and I have much to share. So thanks again for this awesome responsibility, awesome opportunity to be here. And each time I get stuck, Brother Smith will bail me out. All righty, let me hurry here. The simple introduction, the ideas that we have been schooled, whether deliberately or unconsciously, to react negatively to someone who offends us or hurts us or insults us and even embarrasses us. And so to respond positively now to a malicious attack on our character is considered to be weak or maybe even stupid. And let me just make certain this thing is up. Excellent. What we have failed to recognize is that interpersonal conflicts are about our own feelings. I want to underscore that. Our own feelings, our own needs, and our own perspectives. It is about us, not them. It's about me. It is about what is going on inside of us, our ways of coping, our own defensiveness. The reality of the situation, folks, is this. We have some folks that we can afford to feel safe with, and others whose sole intent it is to tear us down. And these are the two extremes that we have when we're dealing with people on a whole. We cannot make people like us or love us, even if it is a baby. Smile. The baby not smile, but we want you to smile. So even if it is a baby, the idea is that we cannot make people love us. We can only control how we respond to people. And that is, for the most part, what we want to remind all of us about, all those who are on this platform and those who will be listening after. The idea here is that we cannot make people love us. The most we can do is control how we respond to them. And what we're talking about here is primarily from the standpoint of even their malicious attack, the ugliness. What do we do? Because oftentimes when we talk about managing our emotions, we're not talking about the emotions that keep us safe. No, we're talking about those emotions that oftentimes get us into trouble each time we allow them to control us. And so, the truth be told, we do have safe and unsafe people that exist. We have people who, have our backs, as the picture might indicate here. And we have some characteristics of what safe people can look like. Relationship is authentic, they are supportive, they understand boundaries, they allow you to be real with them, they are non-judgmental, they accept the real you, they make eye contact, they listen to you, and a host of other things. Notwithstanding, we do have unsafe people. Sometimes people put themselves rather sometimes in unsafe positions, as you can see in that picture right there. Notwithstanding, quite the opposite of the safe is what we have in front of us here. They don't listen. They reject the real you. They are judgmental. They are false with you. They do not understand boundaries. Um, there's a triangle in others. In other words, not only they share your business with other people, so to speak. They are competitive. They will betray you, and a host of different things. So the question that confronts us then, what must we do? And I'm saying here, folks, we must learn to manage our emotions. Since the fact is we do have unsafe people, people who do not have our backs. So even when we do not put ourselves in compromising positions, the fact is people will put us in compromising positions. They will want to, they do not have our backs, literally. So you have the picture where they have your back. In this picture, this person does not have your back at all. And so that is the unsafe people. Now, what must we do? But before we talk about what are the things that we can do, let us at minimum remind you of the emotions, or what is it that our emotions constitute, or what is our emotions? Our emotions basically speaks to our feelings, and we literally almost have from A to Z. There was one that I was supposed to put in that I did not put in, please excuse me. But I want you still to highlight some of the ones that I have there: affection, boldness, depression, ecstasy, embarrassment, fearlessness, fearful, frustration, gratitude, happiness, indifference, love, misery, panic, passion, regret, remorse, sadness, shame, sorrow, terror, trust, wonder, worry, zeal, and zest. So these are just some of the emotions that all of us at some stage in our lives will find ourselves going through. What I've also found, folks, before now I get into the idea of managing our emotions, sometimes we find it quite problematic to do so. Why? Because for years upon years upon years, we have been not only schooled, but it has become a part of the way we operate. What is that? We follow our feelings. Or we have, for all of these words that we shared about our emotions, amazingly, we have an attending behavior. So if we feel it, it is supported by a particular action to see, which then means that the action reinforces the feelings. The action reinforces the feelings. And so if we do not literally get into the habit of learning to control how we feel, then we're going to continue to react in such a way and then be remorseful or regret what we have done. And that's why we have to have this kind of conversation. Too many folks, upon reacting to their feelings, oftentimes upon reflection, say, boy, I should not have. And so before we want to ensure that at the end of our presentation today, we can say, these are some tools that I have not only learned, but these are some tools that I'm prepared to utilize and to use so that my attending reaction supported the feeling. So, correction, my attending reaction is a response which supported my feelings. It is a response that supported my feelings. That is where we are at a place now where we are able to make our choices and back those choices. Okay, so number one, first thing we must do, To manage, we need to recognize where we have control. And we've gone through this already, so we're not going to spend too much time here. I want to stop at a particular stage and phase so I can get you to answer some questions, and then I'll continue again. So manage our emotions, we need to recognize where we have control. We mentioned the fact that we have control over our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings, our decisions, our choices. That's the first thing. If we want to learn how to manage those emotions, then you need to recognize the power that you have over them. It belongs to you, your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your decisions, your choices, your experiences, your wants, needs, behaviors. The responsibility to make your life successful and joyful. That is you. All of that, ladies and gentlemen, is on you, which then means that we have to, number two, we have to recognize where we do not have control. One, and number two, should not even seek to have control. This is part and parcel why oftentimes we find ourselves in problems in managing our emotions. Because rather than spending time on what we can control, we become distracted and start to look at areas that we ought not venture and even trying to have any type of control. And what are those areas? Literally, folks, it is the other person's beliefs. It is the other person's thoughts, the other person's feelings and their decisions and choices and experiences and their wants and needs and their behaviors. And their responsibility to make their life successful and joyful. That is on them, not you. And so we invite you first and foremost to control what you can control. But then number two, do not try to control what other people need to control for themselves. Don't try to control what other people should have the responsibility of controlling on their own. And that's why sometimes, folks, we end up having challenges in managing our own emotions. Why? Because we're gone next door or we're gone to the other person. We believe we must control or put mechanisms in place to control them. And once that is not forthcoming, then we become upset. And by extension, even justify rather why we should be upset. Why? Because of the nature of the relationship. I beg you, if you don't catch anything yet, catch that one. Whatever you can manage those things. Whatever you cannot manage, that is not for you to manage. Let us try and concentrate on managing me and allow other people to manage themselves. I say amen for you all. Amen. Step 3 now. To manage our emotions, we need to face our feelings. I suspect this is where we want to pick up. We have to do what, ladies and gentlemen, face our feelings. We have to acknowledge and identify our sachet. That is, if we're scared, if we're angry, if we're sad, if we're happy, if we're excited, if we're tender, right? We have to identify what those feelings are. We have to accept those feelings as real. Yes, it is your feelings and it's what is happening to you. The cause of the feeling may not be factual, but based on inaccurate interpretation of the current situation or incorrect data. Therefore, it is important for us to figure out, where is this feeling coming from? Why am I having this feeling? What caused this feeling? Now that I have the feeling, what do I plan to do with it? Do I need to allow this feeling to continue to generate a particular thinking or generate a particular action on my part? Suppose that action is going to bring about my own demise. Is it safe for me to continue to be nurturing this feeling? So we have to face it. We need to find out if it is a real feeling, if it is authentic, and not necessarily allow people to tell us whether or not those feelings are true or false. Sometimes we end up asking people's opinion even about our feelings. Or sometimes people feel like they must tell us what we are feeling. And then when we push back now, people become offended because we push back. Or sometimes we accept it, but then we feel worse because we accept it. I am inviting you today, literally, to first and foremost, get in touch with the feeling that you're having and identify the feeling that you're having, and then find out if this feeling is authentic, if it is real. You need to find out whether or not you need to follow up on this feeling, or you need to inform the feeling. Do I need to follow this feeling, or do I need to have a conversation with my feeling? Do I need to say, tell me something, feeling? You real though? Tell me something, feeling. What should I call it? Because you're clearly not happy. It's a sad feeling I'm having. Why am I having this sad feeling? Does it make sense for me to have this sad feeling? Suppose I follow through on this sad feeling. Where is it going to put me? What's going to happen to me if I go through in following this sad feeling? How will this sad feeling make me any better or worse? What is the sad feeling doing to me and doing for me? You see what I've done, folks? I've had a conversation with my feelings, because I need to know whether or not I need to follow it or inform it. And the informing it now saying, hold on a minute. So now that you cannot answer these questions that I've just asked you, Mr. Feelings, I've just went through a barrage of questions and answers. And some of the questions, some of the answers that you're giving to me, I don't like what I'm hearing from you. So you know what happened? I am going to make a different choice. Thank God I stopped and had a conversation with you. Because if I hadn't, I would have a knee-jerk reaction in relation to the feeling. So I'm worried. What am I worried about? I went and had a conversation. And you know what? I realized I don't even have the facts. So here it is, I'm worrying about something and I don't even have the facts. I don't even know what the outcome is going to be. You know? I presuppose that the outcome is going to look this way. And by the way, so that outcome is a feeling. That outcome, I cannot know that outcome until tomorrow. But look at how I'm going today. Look at my behavior today, and I have no clue about what the outcome is going to be in relation to the feeling I'm having now. So you see what I did, ladies and gentlemen? I had a rational conversation with my feeling to decide whether or not I must allow the feeling to continue to generate fears in me, panic in me, unhappiness in me, palpitation of the heart in me, right? To have me to create intrusive thoughts in my mind. That's what I did. I decided to say, I am going to have this conversation so as to ensure that this feeling don't put me into a place where I feel further victimized. That's what I mean, folks, when we talk about having this conversation or that real thing about that feeling, which is akin, by the way, some of the things that I just mentioned, which is akin to validating the feeling. Validation of the feeling, step 4, says I must own my feelings, not as another. Don't do any projection or use any defense mechanism. I must affirm my right as a human being to feel whatever emotions that I'm having before I act them out. Yeah, right. Put the word before instead of that. Before I act them out. My feelings become a moral issue if I nurture them into destructive attitudes, by the way, and let them out. So if I have a particular feeling and I do not question what is happening to this feeling or the validity, correction, or the authenticity of this feeling, then chances are I am going to I can turn how I'm feeling into a means in which I feel victimized by you. For example, suppose you say I feel embarrassed. If I feel embarrassed by something you say to me, or feel hurt by something you have said to me, and it causes me to feel embarrassed, then what I can do, I can decide that I'm going to nurture that embarrassment to the point where I start to make demands of you. You shouldn't say that to me. You shouldn't embarrass me. You're rude. You're out of order. So you see my response now? So my response is heavily contrived rather, as a result of my interpretation of those feelings, or the interpretations that I have placed upon those feelings. I decide that this thing, since it is embarrassing to me, this is what I'm going to have to do. I am going to have to behave a particular way to you because of my interpretation of my situation. We are saying here, check it out. Check out to see if the intensity of the feeling is appropriate to the person or to the situation. Did I have to really feel embarrassed? Did I have to respond to you in that way? Did I have to mirror your behavior? Did I really have to do that? And so that's what I'm saying here, folks. Once you start to go through this process of validating, asking yourself why, to what end, asking yourself these questions, then you're in a better position to manage those feelings rather than find yourself reacting to the feeling. Rather than find yourself what? Reacting to the feeling. Overreactions or overactions are a sign that feelings are related to an accumulation of reactions to past persons or situations needs that are unprocessed. What do I mean by that? Oftentimes things happen to us, and because we did not go through and having this conversation with our feelings, we feel victimized by the situation. So every time a similar situation befalls us, then we are going to not only feel further victimized, but feel that we are now justified in our reactions. Are now what? Justified in our reactions. Write down your questions, If you're not writing down your questions, I invite you to hear me on this. Really, really just hear me on this. You probably can't get everything, or maybe it's just too much right now, but listen.
Everybody may get free tablets,
Okay. Could you mute your mic, please, ma'am? Thank you. Okay. So we are saying here, very important point, overactions are a sign that what? Feelings are related to an accumulation of reactions in relation to what? To past things that we didn't process. We didn't have the conversation that I'm teaching us to have in relation to our fears. Because we never do it, then it's stored up in a way. And every time something similar to that, we just throw it into a file name. You victimize me again. Here you go, victimizing me again. Here you go, victimizing me again. Here you go, victimizing me again. And so you now become the object of my pain. Here you go, victimizing me again. And we can now write down and share the amount of times in which you have brought hurt into my life or on me. So now look at what the person's behavior is doing to you. And I'm not saying that that's set out to be malicious. No, that's not my point. But look at what you're doing. Look at what you're keeping. So rather than managing how you feel, because you can't stop how people treat you, but you can only manage how you respond to them. So rather than managing how you feel, you store up the bad feelings. Write that down. Rather than managing the way we feel, what do? We store up the bad feelings. And when you store up bad feelings, believe you me, them stay and grow and turn gangrene. What we are also saying, do not confuse intensity of feelings, however, with loss of control. Just because you're able to feel hurt and the hurt feel bad, it does not mean that you have the right to lose control. You do not have the right to lose control. The Bible said, be ye angry and sin not. Can you imagine that? Be ye angry and sin not. We don't have to blow up a balloon with hot air till it busts. That's all I'm saying, folks. We have to go find a mechanism to let it out. We have to find, and this is what I'm teaching us, a mechanism, a way, a means for us to let it out. The Bible said, let not the sun go down on your wrath, or sufficient for the days are the evil thereof. It can't mean that we have days of evil in our system. And it moved from days to months to years. Can you imagine that? From months to years. And when judgment day come, we want to join the heaven line. Oh, golly. Let me move on. Right? I'm also saying here, folks, so feelings make sense when we understand need or expectation is unmet. Say it again. Feelings make sense when we understand what need or expectation is unmet. So that's how feelings make sense. We can say, okay, I realize I have this feeling because I didn't get this. or this expectation that I was really looking for, it was unfulfilled. So therefore I feel hurt as a result of that. And that's the point I'm saying here. That's what we did, you know. That's a part of validating the feeling. You understand what is happening to you and why it is happening to you. Step 4. Step 5. To manage our feelings, we need...
Before you go to 5, can you repeat feelings? But where's that now? Your last sentence?
Feelings make sense, that one there?
Yes, please.
Feelings make sense when we understand what needs or expectation is unmet. Say it again. Feelings make sense when we understand what need or is unmet or what expectation is unmet. So that's how we're able to rationalize what kind of feelings we're having or understand why we're having that particular feeling, because either a need is unmet or an expectation is unmet. Okay, thanks. Number 5, to manage our feelings, we need to feel the feeling. Feel the feeling, emotionally allow yourself to experience, not just think about the feeling. Because sometimes, you know, sometimes people will say things to us. I'm going to tell you some of the things that people say to us, and sometimes we'll follow it. I'm not saying we're wrong, I'm not saying we're right. But oftentimes people say, just ignore them. Just ignore them, man. Leave it alone. Let's forget that. Don't follow that. Just ignore them. And many times, many of us try to do that. But one person can just answer right now that someone can move on. Does it work, generally speaking? Just one person.
No, it does not.
I'm just saying generally speaking. Thank you for your answer. Because it might feel like a temporary fix, but yet for the rest of the day, you're still a boil, you know. I mean,
simmering.
Yes, I like that word. The fire might turn down, but so maybe now, boy, plop, 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 you know. But believe you me, the pop them just like this, plop, plop.
Still stewing, still stewing.
Still stewing. Thank you very much. All right, and all I'm just saying, right, to the point that, believe you me, a matter of fact, to the point to say that before the day is over, you cannot even remember why you're vexed, but all you know is that you're mad. You can't really put your finger on why you're really upset, but believe you me, because sometimes you get so distracted by so much other things, you know. But you can't. But you say, you know, I feel frustrated. Yeah, man. Sometimes I come home, you know, and I said to my wife, I said, you know, I feel frustrated, and she said, why? I say, you know, I don't know. So I really not put my finger upon it yet. And it's upon reflection and everything like that. I said, no, me realize. But so something was still there. And all I'm just saying here is, folks, maybe it is still there because we're not taking the time out to do number 5. And that is to what? To feel it, to experience it. Sometimes I understand that in the moment, you may not want to do it. I understand that. You may not have the ability or the privilege to do it in that point in time. And I understand that. But by and large, let us find the time to feel the feeling. Because we want to go somewhere else with this feeling, you know, we don't reach there yet, you know. But we want to talk about finishing the feeling. But before you finish it, you have to feel it. You have to feel the feeling. You know, we have to almost physically allow ourselves to experience the feeling. So suppressing the feeling often lead to body pain or even explosions. The balloon blow up till it bursts. So remembering the pain is often a necessary step to forget and to relieve the pain also. Because most persons want to relieve themselves of an unbearable pain. And that's why I'm asking us to feel it, to go through it, to say, whoa, but I feel in a hot man. Now remembering us so that we can even measure the intensity of the feeling that we're having, so that we don't bury it and we don't ignore it, as people oftentimes tell us to do. But while we ignore it, but it's still a joke, right? And so we want to say, hey, you know something, because by so doing too, you know, you're also being true to your emotions, you know. You say, you know something, you know, really feel upset. No, honestly, you know, whenever I realize something said it upset me so much. No, man, know that me I talk about it and having this conversation. Me upset. You see it? You're getting it out, you know, by having that kind of conversation, because now you see, you not hide it, you know, pretend, because people tell us you must pretend in relation to the feeling that you're having, or ignore it. Nobody say nothing. Nobody say nothing to them. Okay. Well, why you not say nothing to them? You say too much things to yourself, and the thing that you're saying to yourself is not healthy to you and for you. So I'm kind of also just saying here is say, what I invite you to do, man, is to say, wow, you know, so really, this tough, man. This hurt me, man. Because then you will know what kind of steps you need to put onto this pain. In other words, you know, if don't put a band-aid on something that needs stitching. Don't put a band-aid on something that needs stitching. And that's part of the problem. Sometimes we go put on the band-aid when really and truly, and we can't believe so we still a bleed. Okay? So I want us to be real to the feeling that we're having. So, oh, this really feel bad, man. I'm not if it feels so bad, I can't even eat. Yeah, man, you have them kind of feeling there where you feel so bad, you know, no appetite. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about feeling the feeling. Talk about it, say, well, I'm not have an appetite. But now we see, but if you don't go through the process of understanding why you're having that feeling, because we need to get there, why we're having the feeling, then we develop bad stomach. And what people get develop bad stomach because of them feelings, you know. And of course, and other communicable diseases too can happen. But we're going to stick with the most simplistic ones, bad stomach. Why? And then you see, so one of the bad stomach, we're not free the feeling anymore, you know. All we know that our belly are kill we. We all forget what they have. We just know some never get to eat G's and P's and we have to drink like a Cersei tea, or not Cersei, but we have to drink like a tea, hot, something hot. And all I'm just saying here, folks, it is important for us to do that. Now, after we feel the feeling and understand the intensity of the feeling, then we need to manage our emotions. Manage the emotions. What do we need to do? In managing our emotions, we need to vent or vocalize our feelings. All of these things, you know, is not just one you must do, it's all of them combined. I'm sharing with you to do. Express appropriately, immediately if you're able to, directly if you can, but definitely respectfully to yourself, to God. And when you are ready, when you feel safe, when you feel certain, when you feel calm, when you're coherent, then you can express how you feel to the offender. You see, when you go to the offender, you need to be in a place that when you express it, even if them reject it, you don't feel rejected. Write that down. When you express it, even if they reject it, you don't feel rejected. So I'm saying here, folks, you're going to express first and foremost, appropriately, immediately, directly, respectfully, to whom? Yourself, which then means you're able to understand why you have the intensity of this feeling. If you're able to, if in vocalizing it, you need not have the conversation with the other person, then you must be satisfied in so doing. If, however, having the conversation is necessary to at minimum establish boundaries going forward, then by all means, go ahead and do so. But please do not use vocalizing your feelings to the other person as a means for them to feel sorry. No. It is to tell them your position. It is to identify your position. It is not necessary to get them to repent. I said not necessarily. You see, we don't force people to repent. But once people are aware of what they have done, then they make the choice as to whether or not they want to repent. Our problem is that we give it to them in such a way where we almost want to coerce repentance. And if it's not forthcoming, then we vex even more. Now we need to read out of church. And everything I will carry it, we make even matters worse. To the point where, listen, we're going to tell everybody about the infraction that you have with this person. Why? Because they never come and tell you that I'm sorry. I love this. You know why? Because everywhere I go, I don't care where I am. Everywhere I go, and I don't care what kind of position that you have, that I have, All of us are guilty of these things, like, wow, in leaps and in bounds, you know, and I'm just like, sometimes I laugh at myself. I said, ah, look at what you're doing. Really, look at what you're doing, Andre. Okay, so let me move on here. But I'm just saying here, folks, express appropriately, immediately, directly, respectfully, to whom? To yourself. You can only take those positions about appropriate, immediate, directly, and respectfully, providing you would have gone through the 5 steps that I shared earlier. You have to go through those 5 steps first and foremost before you can reach to this step, folks. Please remember again that if upon doing so, if it's not necessary for you to share your position because you're able to manage what it and even to manage your outcome, then you don't then there may not be a need for you to express to the offender. Challenge the learned implosions. That's right. And or explosions. So sometimes you might feel a particular way and you explode on the inside, which is implosion, or outside. But you need to find out why is this happening? What can I learn from this? Should this happen to me again? Things that are destructive to you, to another, or to a relationship. Have that conversation. Was it necessary? Could I have done better? That's what I'm challenging. Okay? Develop other ways to soothe and to comfort yourself. For example, giving yourself time to grieve.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Romain, you can just mute the mic, please. Thank you. For example, giving yourself time to grieve. You know, talking to yourself as you wish your parents would have talked to you. You know, nurturing yourself. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you need to have a conversation with yourself. You know? So even before you go vocalize the feelings to someone else, you need to say to yourself, so really, so Andre, so how do you plan to have this conversation with this person? What is the objective when you have this conversation with this person? Is it restoration or separation? What is the goal? When should I have this conversation with the person? Is it my pride that is causing me to talk, and why I talk and how I talk? Is pride at stake right here? What is happening to me right here? Is it about me, or is it about the relationship? What is happening here? I mean, have that conversation with yourself to decide whether or not you can have the conversation with the other person. Suppose them continue to do it again. What's going to happen? Is it that they continue to control you? Do you really become Pinocchio without the long nose, that is? Because you're not a lie. But you're a puppet because somebody's pulling your strings. All I'm saying here, no, folks, I'm not saying that everything I'm saying here is a walk in the park, but I'm just saying, let us process. Let us have that conversation. Let us find out before I come and vent until they say, are you wicked? You're showing that to me. And when you're on top of your voice and everybody is inclusive of the people in St. Elizabeth, I hear you. All I'm saying here, we need to find out to what end. Okay? To what end? Again, as I said before, if it is important to share your position so that you can provide boundaries going forward, then by all means. Then by all means. I'm going to use this illustration, and then I might take a 5 to get 1 and 2 questions if they are. If not, then I can continue because I really need to continue. But let me just give you this illustration, and then we can move on. Everybody, let's see if I can see a couple faces. You can come on camera, 1 and 2. As a matter of fact, I think I want to talk to one person in particular. Can somebody come on camera, please? Can somebody come on camera? I want to use my pen illustration with them. Okay, that's Joyce Stone. Yeah, okay, you can unmute. Yes. All right, Joyce, you have a pen nearby?
No, I don't. Sorry.
All right, that's all right. I want somebody who have a pen in them hand. Come on. Anybody who have a pen in them hand? All right, for time's sake, you see, for time's sake, Joyce, come back on. for time's sake. I don't see anybody else come on with a pen in them hand.
Okay.
But it's okay for me to address you as by your first name?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, thank you very much, Joyce. Okay, Joyce. If you had something that almost looked like a pen, you have a phone, you have anything else that is nearby you that you can hold on to and show? Anything that you know is your one, and nobody can take it from you. Anything.
Will this do?
Let me see it. Yeah, man, that's fine. I don't know what that is, but let's call it your pen. Okay, Joyce. Whose pen is in your hand?
Mine.
Very, very good. Your pen, Joyce, does it belong to you or does it belong to me?
It belongs to me.
Very, very good. Joyce, do you have power over your pen?
Absolutely. It's in my hand.
Excellent. Okay, okay, Joyce. Since it is, pardon me, since this is your pen, I'm going to ask you to put it down and use the next hand and lift it up, and then use use your right eye and wink at it. And if you can't wink, squint. You have done that, Joyce?
Yes.
Excellent. Very, very good. So you own your pen, and your pen did not have a choice in relation to what you did to it. True or false?
True.
Very, very good. Okay, Joyce. So did you follow your pen or your pen followed you?
My pen followed me. I have total control.
You have total control over your pen. Very, very good, Joyce. Now, Joyce, I'm going to ask you to give your pen a different name. Your pen is My Feelings. What's the name of your pen?
The story doesn't sound right to
My
me.
Feelings.
Is a feeling name?
Yes, the name of your pen is going to be called My Feelings.
Anger.
No, man. I'm calling it My Feelings.
Okay.
You must call your pen My Feelings.
Okay, so my pen is my feelings.
Very, very good. So now I want to say to your pen, hello, My Feelings. How are you doing today?
Hello, my feelings. How are you doing today?
Very, very good. It is important, though, it's Joyce, that it don't answer your ear.
Well, I'd run if it does.
That's same, yes. Okay. Very good. Now, Joyce, do you follow your feelings or your feelings follow you?
I follow my feelings.
You follow your feelings.
Yes.
Do you follow your pen?
No. No.
Because remember, you know, the name of your pen is My Feelings. So one more time. A while ago, I asked you to follow your pen and you said no. You said you have total control over your pen. That's what you just said.
Yes.
All I did was to change the name of your pen and call it My Feelings. So,
Okay.
do you follow your feelings or your feelings follow you?
My feelings follow me.
Next time I lie, tell me, Joyce.
No, but here it is. I'm moving.
I'm troubling you. I'm troubling you, Joyce. I'm troubling you.
Okay.
The truth be told is, Joyce, oftentimes, you know, we think that we're supposed to have control over our feelings. Just like we have control over our pen, since it belongs to us, our feelings belong to whom? It belongs to me. So since your feeling belong to you, then you need to give instruction to your feelings.
So I should manage it.
You must manage it, right? So sometimes the feelings, Joyce, doesn't mean that you have to obey it. You decide what you're going to do with it when it comes to you. By the way, when we cannot stop myriads of feelings that flood our brains on a daily basis. Oftentimes we cannot stop it, but we decide what we do with it. We decide what we must do with it.
Excellent point.
Thank you very much, Joyce. All righty, folks, I'm going to... yes, I can give you a chance to...
No, just one quick word there. Just on the pen thing. Nowadays, we don't necessarily always write with pen, but we have smartphone, and the smartphone have something called autocorrect. So sometimes you write, or what is not what you want. So maybe that is what is happening to most of us, is that the autocorrects, we not really have the control over it. Right? Potentially we could, but before we realize what has happened, we send out what it is that we didn't want to send out. So maybe that is an explanation. So we need to go back to the pen stage where we actually let the pen do what we want it to do, rather than have the pen write whatever it wants to write. So
Excellent. Excellent point.
So-
Excellent point. Excellent point. I mean, excellent point. You know, sometimes, you know, we we go back and say and get a different instruction. The autocorrect. and then the pen end up now, you see, and we still end up following the pen. So we might think that we are in control, but the autocorrect that we put inside here, we still end up following the pen. Excellent point. Excellent point. Do we have any comments or questions just yet? Because I'll just pass about 2 or so minutes, and then I want to continue. If not, may I continue then?
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you much.
there was a question earlier on. I think Deborah was saying, oftentimes you're said to be thin-skinned whenever you show your feelings. Is this true? And how do you apply EI to the situation, meaning exercise EI or show your feelings? So the question, if you show your feelings, does that mean that you are thin-skinned?
Okay, well, remember, so let me try and address that. Remember that the truth be told, remember when we mentioned this in the first part of our presentation, when we talk about we must try and work on the areas that we can or must control. The areas that we can and must control speaks to my beliefs, my thoughts, my feelings. Even if those feelings are thin-skinned, it's still my one them, right? And not allow no other people to tell us how we must feel. And that's the reason why we also go through in talking about facing our feelings. See it here, we accept the feelings as real. The cause of the feelings may not be factual, but based on inaccurate interpretation or of a current situation or data. Therefore, it is important for us to figure out where is this feeling coming from. So even if we feel thin-skinned about a particular thing, it's still my one. Now, I must decide what I'm going to do with it, and not people labeling my feelings for me. And not people doing what? Labeling my feelings for me. So I hope that can answer the question. Okay, number 8. To manage our emotions, we need to frame our feelings. We have to identify the need behind the feeling. Is it an unmet need? Is it something that is unfulfilled? We need to identify the need behind the feeling. Or we need to find out, is it that I'm feeling scared? Do I feel safe? Is it that my safety is in question? Do I feel anger? Is it my ego? Is it violation? Is it sadness? Is it loss? Whatever it is, folks, we need to identify where the feeling is coming from. Now, we need to own our feelings. We have to own our response and recognize that it's our responsibility to do so. We are not responsible for the other's feelings, only your intentions. That's what you're responsible for. You see, sometimes one of the mistakes that we make as it relates to even framing that feeling, if we put it in the wrong frame, we're going to have an inappropriate response. If we put it in the wrong frame, we have an inappropriate response. What do you mean, Andre? In other words, suppose you make the feeling bigger than it's supposed to be. Then you're going to feel that you have to react bigger. because the feeling big, so you have to react bigger. But just suppose you see, in truth and in fact, you might have another narrative about your experience. Suppose you change your narrative about your experience. Suppose you say, you know, after all, I'm not the only person that things like this happen to. Why am I taking it so personal? Really, you know, why am I taking it so personal? Why don't I look at it in a different way? Why do I have to feel like I cannot move or I cannot act and I cannot function because of who is doing it to me? Many years ago, I shared this illustration. I'm going to share it now. And what it speaks to was framing. This illustration that I shared, it really come under what? Framing of the feeling. So I've heard people share it actually, but you know, so let me give you the correct thing about this thing here. If a loved one says something to you and you feel hurt by it, let's say a loved one called me, let's say my wife called me short big belly man. And by the way, I'm short and I do have a stomach in front of me. Okay? Suppose, but I don't like the name. Short big belly man. Suppose I'm on the road and a madman says to me, short big belly man. And it doesn't bother me. But when I reach home, my wife calls me short big belly man. Why am I responding ugly to her? You know why? Because so it's the same statement, but different framing. Same statement, but different what, ladies and gentlemen? Framing. It is coming from because of who it is coming from. So we automatically, we know I don't like the term, but when the madman said, why is it not impacting me? The frame I put around that is that, it doesn't have no sense. I wouldn't even me talk to. But even for me talk to, I'm a madman. He can't talk to me. It's how quickly I dismiss the same words that is supposed to put me in you know, in disarray. But instead, I reframe my situation and
Cheaper.
okay, just a minute, please. So I reframe my situation and I say, hey, no. I'm not going to allow what you have to say to impact me in that way. Why? Because I put you in a different frame. I reframe what I'm hearing. And so I'm going to react differently because of my reframing. Okay, that's what I really want to pull out where that is concerned. Sometimes, unfortunately, we allow the same hurtful terms. We make them stay in the same frame. Or sometimes we put them into frames that is going to further violate us. Sometimes we put them into frames that will further violate us. Folks, we have to see ourselves taking care of ourselves. Write that down. We have to see ourselves taking care of ourselves. We have to see ourselves removing ourselves from painful situations and painful people and painful thoughts and painful words. We can't stop them from saying it, but we decide if we're going to keep it or accept it. Okay, framing the feeling. We also need to. I feel like I must skip this one, but let me not do that. I'm watching the time still. Let me not do that. Number 9.
You know, I get it done.
Okay.
No, so it's something that's coming.
Go ahead and mute here, Kay. Thank you.
Number 7.
Okay. I'm sorry?
Did we skip number 7?
No. Number 7 was the
pen?
The pen
Okay.
thing, pen illustration, yeah.
Okay.
So we did frame 8. Number 9, now we're talking about we must look to forgive ourselves along with there must be a willingness rather, let me use that word, to forgive, especially ourselves, and I want to say, and another, especially our offenders. See, sometimes if we talk ourselves, and here's another framing thing, if we talk ourselves in saying, Me never expect that from you. Of all the persons who could have done this to me, me never expect that from you. You see, that's a framing, you know. That's a kind of framing. But if we attach that frame, then really and truly, we can carry grudge towards a person because this person should not have said, you know, I don't like something like that. You know that I never treat you like that. See, we use ourselves as a point of reference to the way we want to be treated. And when it's not forthcoming, then we give ourselves the right to feel offended and the right to react in an ugly way. I am saying here, folks, that's a kind of reframing or framing rather. But the question is, are we really prepared to forgive? See, if we give a particular frame, it's going to be even more difficult for us to forgive. For example, if we say something like, and I was saying it earlier, if we say something like, I never forgive you for this, or if anybody ever do something like this to me, I don't know how me to forgive them. By the way, that's a kind of self-talk too. But it's that kind of framing, folks. We're setting up ourselves. We're setting up ourselves to get hurt. We're setting up ourselves to receive the hurt. We're setting up ourselves to respond to the hurt. We're setting up ourselves to become victimized by the hurt. And all I'm saying here, be careful that we don't state what is it that we cannot do. Rather, we're supposed to be looking at what is it that we must do to ensure that we don't remain in pain. To ensure that we don't remain in pain. And so we have to be prepared to have a forgiving spirit. Yes, man, we have to walk up and down with a heart full. That's right, not half full of heart, but a heart full of what? Of a forgiving spirit. We have to walk up and down with it, man. People must see with 2 hands full, and them say, "We're not a bucket there, forgiving spirit." I'm dash it by you too, but I'm serious. We have to understand that time does not heal unforgiven or unprocessed hurt. Did you catch that? Time what? Does not heal unforgiven or unprocessed hurt. So how you can manage your feeling if you're constantly in pain? It becomes even more difficult to do so. But having a forgiving spirit gives you an amazing foundation to begin the process of managing those feelings. Forgiveness requires that you use God's power to develop love for your enemies. You heard me. To bless those who despitefully use you, and to pray for those who persecute you. Matthew chapter 5, 43 to 47. Give up the right to get even and to hurt back. Do you want to be bitter or to get better? That is the question you must ask yourself. Make sure you're not forgiving at the expense of processing your hurt and hate, or without knowing the offense and the degree to which you need to forgive. Make sure, because you might be going through a false sense of forgiveness. How you know? You know how you know? Because if something closely resembles it, you're not quick to remember it. If something closely resembles it, you're not quick to remember it. That's how you know that you're not going through a false sense in terms of processing your hurt or your hate, or not understanding the degree in which you need to forgive. So I better say, boy, it is hard, but me need to. But don't say, yeah, man, we're good. And when you check it out, you're doing what is called limited forgiveness. Limited forgiveness says, I'll forgive you for some things, but I don't plan, but there are other things that I not forgive you for. Or you have conditional forgiveness, says, if you don't stop, then we will never forgive you. Or you have detached forgiveness. And detached forgiveness says, listen, I don't have nothing to do with you again. Okay, I forgive you, but understand, I don't have nothing to do with you again. Go about your business. Once bitten, twice shy. You'll never get the opportunity to hurt me again. And yet, full forgiveness is never going to be a part. Matter of fact, in your mind, listen, I will forgive, but I'll never forget. I will keep on beating that horse. That the truth is, you're right, we'll never forget because we are looking to remember. Because we're looking to remember. See, it's a false sense of forgiveness. And we want to ensure that that does not happen to us. As soon as we finish, to manage our emotions, we need to finish our feelings. We have to recycle the process that we went through. Everything from number one come right back down. As many times as necessary. And check out to see if you are having unfinished feelings. You know, look at the unmet needs and the unexpressed thoughts and the memories and the unaware imaginations and the unrecognized impulses and the undiscovered meanings of feelings and the unforgiving behaviors. Look at them. And if you find that they still persist, then I'm saying start over the process. Go back to number one and come back on again. That's what I'm saying. Consider what resources you need to finish those feelings. Resources could include, not limited to, challenging the negative beliefs that you're having and that you have been having, or that you might even have now. Some of those negative beliefs is to say, why it's easier said than done. Yes, suffer. Don't say that. You're putting yourself in a position where it's become harder for you to do. Don't say that. Okay, challenging those negative beliefs, challenge the lies, challenge the curses that you were told by significant others. You know, but as for you, I don't know how you'd have to get something like this. I don't know how you'd have to get something like this or whatever. And the things that people say about you, you hold on to them. And you start to label yourself based upon what your family and close persons and close relatives say to you. Because you're not reframing. So because your mother said this, I can't believe a mother could have ever said something like this to her child. No, sir. And then we allow that statement now that we say, and we'll hold it dear to us. And so we'll carry those ugly feelings with us till the day we die. I'm a motherfucker kill we. Now I'm grave with this. Okay? Challenge those things, man. Find ways to meet your disappointed needs and to develop the EAR skills. What is the EAR skills? Express, ladies and gentlemen, what you feel. And this is just a resource that I'm teaching. Express what you feel. Ask for what you need. And receive or reject what you get. Receive or reject what you get. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Receive or reject what you get. Suppose when you ask, after you express, and then you ask, but suppose what the people want to give you is not what you want, what you ask for, then reject it. But be at peace that you have rejected it. As simple as that. Rather than to say, find yourself in pieces because you never get what you want or what you ask for. Get it? Just say amen. I'll say amen for you. Number 10, because I want to stop to give you an opportunity to ask some more questions. Okay? But another resource that we can use, so we'll give you one resource of the EAR already, but here's another resource as it relates to once we go about to finish our feelings. So remember now, we're saying you can utilize this resource after you would have gone through all the steps in relating to finishing your feelings. So after you go through all of this, then the next thing you must do now, here's another resource. We give you the EAR resource. Here's another resource that we can use. We can decide what is it that we plan to take from other people. In other words, stop accepting words, stop accepting behavior, stop accepting attitudes, stop accepting things that are crude and rude and unpleasant from other people. Not accepting it, by the way, does not mean that people will not try to give it to us. Therefore, we need to learn the art of saying no, thank you. All right, I want somebody else to come on camera again. Somebody else come on camera again. Anybody can come on camera. And let me talk you through this or share this art with you of learning to say no, thank you. Anybody, quickly, time almost gone.
Hello.
Yes, hello. I want you on camera. That's okay?
Yes, I'm trying to find.
Ah, there you go. Excellent.
I can't see myself. Do I look okay?
I can, yeah, man. You look fabulous, man. Excellent, excellent. All right. May I address you as Carolyn?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, Carolyn. If somebody gives you something that you don't want, you ought to say no, thank you. You ought to say what?
No, thank you.
Excellent. So I'm about to give you something, but just a minute.
No, thank you. No,
Sorry. Make a clear my throat, sorry. Okay, Carolyn, here.
no, thank you.
Okay, so Carolyn, I offered you this nasty piece of tissue. I clearly do not have your best interest. And in offering it to you, you said no, thank you. True or false?
True.
Okay, so in saying no, thank you, it means that you left the nastiness with me. True or false?
True.
Okay, so if you leave the nastiness with me, Carolyn, who must not feel nasty?
Me.
Who must not behave nasty?
Me.
Very good, Carolyn. Very good. But that the meter could have sounded like with enthusiasm. Very good. So if you leave the nastiness with me, who must therefore now feel and possibly behave nasty?
The person who was.
Me, Carolyn. I mean, you never take it from me. You
Yeah.
know, very good. Me.
You.
Very good. Now watch this, Carolyn. So if you leave the nastiness with me, when you said no, thank you, it therefore means you mustn't behave a particular way since you recognize that this thing is not good to you or good for you. True or false?
True.
You know, Carolyn, you know how I can know whether or not to take this and put it in your bosom?
Yes, if I start behaving like I'm affected by it.
Carry on, Carolyn. Carry on. And that's the art of saying no, thank you.
Right.
That is the Carolyn, if you're going to use it, you have to please call my name. My name is Andre Allen Casey.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Andre.
I am the one who developed this.
Yes.
With it, and me it begin with, okay? Thank you very much, Carolyn. You have been a wonderful participant.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We are saying here, ladies and gentlemen, we have to develop the art of saying no thank you. Another tool that we can use after we would have completed or finished our feelings. Now, look at, here's something else now. Ready for this other one now? Possibly another tool, but to manage our emotions, we need to know how faith, fact, and feeling impact our functionality. Please write my name on this one again too. How faith, fact, and feeling, a matter of fact, 90% of the things, you can write my name on it. How faith, fact, and feeling impact our functionality. I want somebody to come up again. Could somebody else please come on screen again? Could somebody else please come up on screen again, please? Not going to take long. Quickly. Anybody? Come online, on screen. You can hear your voice. Anybody coming up? Is this person coming up? Just unmute if you're coming up. Okay.
I can come back.
All right, come back, Carolyn. Excellent. Right. Now, do you see these three shapes, Carolyn?
Yes.
Right. Now, if the three shapes have the same dimensions, can each of these shapes fit in each other?
If they have the same dimensions.
Yeah.
They can't fit in.
Thank you very much. Excellent, Carolyn. They cannot. You know, and so incidentally, we need to literally look at our lives, especially our feelings, and recognize these 4 F's that regulate how we function. With our faith, the fact, and our feelings. But we need to recognize that there are 3 separate entities.
Mm-hmm.
We need to recognize that there are what? 3 separate entities. Our faith speaks to what we believe, our conceptualization, our philosophy. what we believe. So if I believe that that what I'm doing can help people, then I can continue to share this kind of information. For those who believe that that information that we share on this platform is able to help you, again, keep on coming back and invite other people to join. But that's what you believe. If you believe in God, then you're going to submit and subject yourself to what he has to say through his words. Whatever you believe. If you believe in yourself, then every time yourself tell you something, again, do what yourself tell you to do. Whatever you believe, okay? If you don't believe the plane can fly, you're going sailing a boat or swim. All I'm saying here is what you believe regulate what you do oftentimes. Amen. But here's the next thing though. You have to be careful that you have the facts. Because just because you believe something, suppose you believe the plane can never fly. Guess what happened? When you see them the big heavy something in the ear, you're going to call it ship. I'll give it a different name. Because in your head, plane can never fly. But just because you believe something doesn't make it authentic.
Okay.
So we have to ensure that we have facts. We must ensure that we also have facts. Sometimes as church people, and I'm a churchman, big time, we have to be careful that we don't push a belief and sometimes, I'm saying sometimes, not all the times, but we don't push a belief and when people ask for certain kind of facts, we don't have anything to substantiate it. Our God, always, I'm not gonna say always, but I'm just saying, and oftentimes has facts to back up the things that he says. He said, prove me this day whom, look at me, look at what I have made to authenticate my existence. The heavens declare me. So he used things to authenticate also his existence. That's all I'm just kind of saying. It's not just any kind of blind faith, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Too long. I'm saying faith, facts, and then the feelings. Now, of these three though, Caroline, you know what is the problem? We allow our what to interfere with which two?
Our feelings to affect.
Our feelings.
Interfere, yes.
So we put as small as feel, although it is the same dimension, we still squeeze fact in the feeling and we still squeeze faith in the feeling. So feeling continuously control even the faith and the facts. And if the feeling controls the faith and the facts, it means that we have replaced and displaced faith and fact and feeling, which therefore now means we are dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
And most people in our society are dysfunctional. Why? Just by this simple analogy that I'm putting right here. We don't recognize that faith must be number one, fact must be number two, and feeling must only come as number three.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be 3, 2, 1.
Right.
1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be 1, 2, 3. Faith, fact, feeling, or fact, faith, feeling. But feeling must come number 3 in order for us rather to have proper functionality. Our time is almost up on us because we need time for folks to ask some questions. So thank you again, Caroline, for your thing there. And if I have one more, I can still call on you again. But thank you very much. Now, after we would have, in sharing this example, ladies and gentlemen, in how we manage our emotions and such lights, we need to understand, let me just give you a quick illustration here. Faith can be number 1 or it can be number 2. So we can ask ourselves the question so as to generate or to understand what faith can look like for us or should look like for us. We therefore need to ask some of these questions. Do we live with or do we live for? If you find that we live for, who we live for rather will determine how we live or why we live. That's what I mean when I'm talking about faith and why it should even be number 1. If we truly believe that we are living for God and because of God, then we should allow God's word and will to lead our living. For in him, the Bible says, Acts 17:28, we live and move and have our being. Because of him, we live, we move, and we are living. So how can we not live for him? How can we not? That's why faith has to be number one. Just saying. In Acts 17:28, that's Acts 17:28, and also read Galatians 2:20. I'm crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ who lives in me. To manage our emotions, we need to learn to value our self-talk. We're coming to a close, I promise you. Our self-talk, ladies and gentlemen, is designed to empower us. Do you plan on talking yourself in pain or out of it? We're coming to a close. Step 12. To manage our emotions, we need to learn to value, to learn the value of self-talk. What is it? Do we talk ourselves? Our self-talk, first and foremost, is designed to empower us. So the question we must ask ourselves, do you plan to talk yourself in pain or out of it? Instead of empowerment, we oftentimes give ourselves latitude. What do you mean, Andre? An example of latitude is simply this. Healing takes time. Healing takes time. And I'm not mocking anybody here. But I'm mocking the statement. I'm not mocking a person, I'm just mocking the statement. In other words, because I don't want us to empower the statement. Latitude, remember, self-talk is designed to give us, is designed to empower us. It is not designed to give us latitude. What it is an example of latitude. Healing takes time is an example of latitude. I'm only human is another example of latitude. It is easier said than done. These three statements, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we can't seem to talk ourselves out of pain. Because we use these, we use these latitude, these latitude statements to further give us painful experiences, to further give us the inability to manage our feelings. And instead, we find ourselves reacting to those feelings. Your self-talk, man. Don't tell yourself, healing takes time. And I agree, I don't disagree with you. Healing does take time. But how much time it take? And why are we planning the time? Why are we saying, yeah, man, something like this? Why me don't know when we're gonna get over it. You see it? That's why I ask the question, you know, do you plan on talking yourself in pain or out of it? I don't know when I get over this. It means you're talking yourself in pain. You're not empowering yourself, you're giving yourself latitude. Remember, self-talk is designed to empower us. Another time again, teach you the lesson of the 5 fingers. Okay, what is empowerment though? Starting today, yes, ladies and gentlemen, today, this evening, right now, I am not doing this anymore. I've made up my mind. You are going to do something about how you feel when today. I'm going to go 12 steps today. I'm going to allow them to become real in my life when today. Starting today, I'm not going to do this anymore. And number 3, up my mind. Okay? That is what I want to, my recommendation that I want to give to you. I hope and trust that everything I've shared, or most of the things that I've shared, it was of some kind of benefit. We learned something and we are ready to put steps into practice. Thank you very much for listening.
Mr. Casey, please go back to step 10, the first slide in step 10, please. The other one before in step 10. There's one before.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, this one. Thanks.
Okay. Any comments or questions? We have 5-7 minutes before we end.
I probably will need specialized help. There, there are many things here that I can say I'm guilty of when it comes to managing my emotions. So I probably need to speak with someone on a personal level instead of, because I don't think I can manage everything based on this class. I've done the best I can, but my notes are, all over the place and it's just disjointed. So I might need professional help. I don't know, because this emotion thing is really very serious for me.
FLIRTY and FECUND.
Okay. You can feel free to reach out to us and let us see how we can literally make that arrangement. Okay, I might just leave my number. Well, I don't know how to do it, but let's write this down: 360-6594, and let us see, what arrangements can be made.
Brother Casey.
Yes, ma'am.
You said something, but I missed it. So in the event that you had probably an argument with somebody and your feelings, as you say, we don't handle it properly, what you say should be a motive for going to that person?
Okay, excellent question. I'm saying, okay, so if I can find the slide. I'm saying before we even think about going to the person, well, a host of different things we can do. Going back to some of these things. See here, when we talk about venting or vocalizing our feeling, we have to have a conversation with ourselves first and foremost, where we understand what is happening to me, understand the context of my emotions, to ensure that I'm not overreacting as far as those emotions are concerned. And once I'm there and I understand that when I'm going to have a conversation with the person, I'm not going to coerce repentance in and of the person, because I'm literally at peace where my feelings are concerned. But I'm going to the person to tell them my position. Why so? So that in the event that they will cease and desist. Remember one of the things we shared here, that you need to have, you need to, where is it? It's right here. Right here. You remember the EAR skill, a resource that we can use. We express what we feel, we ask for what we need, and we either receive or reject what we get. So having that, the expressing and asking, that is when you're going to the person, but you only reach there, after you are at peace and where your feelings are concerned. Because remember, if they do not plan to change how they feel about you, you have to change how you feel, rather what you do with that feeling. You better manage what you are doing with that feeling. See, sometimes we go to them to get them to change their mind towards us. And if it doesn't change, then we become further victimized and embroiled. I am saying that's not help, like you're not managing your feeling. You're still allowing their action to regulate what you do. So I'm saying to you, we say, this is why I mentioned you have to express appropriately, immediately, directly, respectfully, first and foremost, to whom? To you. And why to Almighty God? Because God tells you or reminds us about our attitude, even as it relates to forgive somebody. And it's a prayer for those who despitefully use you and persecute you. You think when I pray for them, you're going to go to God and say, God, I hope you kill them, because you saw them treat me. You think God is going to say, I sure will, my daughter. Right? And so all I'm just kind of saying here, this is why you have to go to that process to manage you first and foremost. that once now you are ready to, when you're ready to speak to them, you're in a better place in how you express it and what you say. You can use the sandwich approach. The sandwich approach, you give them a compliment at the top, you express your concern in the center, and you finish off with a compliment. You know, once we take responsibility for our inner world, it increases the possibility that others will hear us non-defensively. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Mr. Casey, but if it is that, because me personally, there are situations that arise in my life where I will have an issue with someone, right? And what I do, I talk to myself and I pretend as if I'm speaking to the person before I do. And I realize that's vocalizing my feelings to myself and imagining I'm speaking to the person. What if an individual, because you say we can also express our feelings to the person, but in the same way, we need to recognize that we should not expect the person, our persons to be remorseful. But what if an individual, while you taught us not to have an expectation of remorse, but the individual is definitely going to hear, I'm sorry, that's what I want to hear. Would it even make sense for the person to actually to go to the individual to even express the feelings then? Because you know, so this is my motive, I want you to say sorry. Just ask me.
Okay, good question. Now, let me make a slight little clarification. The thing is to say, once you share your position, and that position can also speaks to how you feel offended. Remember the EAR scale now. You're going to reach a place where you're going to do what? The EAR scale. Pardon me. The EAR scale says you ask for what you need. You express first and foremost what you feel. So if you feel hurt by something, you're going to talk about it. Now, all I'm just saying here, you're not talking about it so as to get them to say, I'm sorry. That's not the primary objective. You're talking about how something has affected you. So that's why in your conversation piece, you do not say to folks, you know, when I lie about you, I know you keep on doing what hurt me. You don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. You have to own the feeling. You have to talk about, so the conversation you do, so what you do, you use I statements rather than you statements. So you talk about how a particular behavior or action has impacted you. So it is on me as to my interpretation or misinterpretation of what I'm hearing from you, how this has impacted me. Unfortunately, how we have been schooled is that we start off with letting the other person know how much they have offended us. So we point on them, we throw darts at them. They're not in the position to listen to us then. Matter of fact, they're going to be defending their position and throw back darts on us. So the conflict continues. So if you understand what I'm saying. I am saying so as to ensure that I'm in a better place to limit the conflict. The Bible says what? A soft answer turns away wrath. That's another tool that we can use. Grievous words stirs up anger. So what am I going to do? Come and start label people with grievous words because I was grieved by you? Absolutely not. So therefore, you see, so I guess I'm also kind of saying here, so we have to be careful that we don't talk about, we talk about rather how a behavior has impacted me. This is how, you know, this was said. You said this, I feel hurt by the words, I have managed it, but I'm sharing this information with you, and in hope that you know, an adjustment can be made going forward, especially considering, and then again close off now, especially considering that having a fruitful relationship with you is my goal. Is that sound I just gave you a while ago, you know? I just gave you a language. And that's what I'm saying here. If we don't train ourselves to have conversation like that, especially when we want to share a painful experience with someone else, then unfortunately we are waiting on them to say sorry. And once it's not forthcoming, then then we feel further victimized. I hope that helped.
Thank you.
Pleasure. All righty. Anything else? Anybody else? That's 2 minutes after the hour. And I'm done.
Thank you, sir, for another excellent presentation. Don't know if there's a last question. Somebody closing, going, gone.
This was a very, very good session. I really appreciate it. And I really have learned myself the things I need to probably fix before time is too late. So I would, some things are water under the bridge, but I will still try to do them just in, fix the way I express myself to people and the things that I am feeling. I apparently have not been saying it right at all. I'm going to them expecting them to say they're sorry, and no, you're saying it's wrong. All my life, if someone hurts me, that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, but I'm not saying, I don't know if I'm saying that it is wrong. I'm just saying that
there's a better way.
There's a different way.
A different way, yeah.
Another approach.
Yeah.
And if we don't execute that approach, then we kind of set up ourselves for the other person to continue to have control over us. Meaning, okay, then never tell me say you're sorry. Then I'm going to remain in pain. And I'm saying, if we change our perspective, then chances are we will relieve ourselves of pain.
What
So
I actually did,
a different perspective.
What I actually did the last time, I said, well, if the shoe were on the other foot, and I did this to you and you brought it to my attention, I would say, I'm sorry, because this relationship is meaningful to me. I'm actually telling her what to say. She said, well, you can't tell me what to think. I say, I understand it, but I'm just telling you how I feel. I didn't know where to go with it. And I'm saying, are you kidding me?
But I mean, that the person is right.
No, you're telling me, now that you're pointing it out, you're saying it's right. I believe you more than I believed her, and I'm saying, I can't tell you what to do. Yes, I can, because you just hurt my feelings in some way. And you're the last person I expected this from. All the things you said, I've been there and done that. Oh my.
Okay.
You're not unique though. I mean, that situation is part of what we do. I think part of the socialization is that, yeah. Matter of fact, that's how we groom our children. They do something wrong, we tell them, make sure that you say sorry.
Yeah.
And so if I am supposed to say I'm sorry when I do something wrong, well, if somebody else do something wrong, they must say they're sorry too. And so that's part of it. The only point that Brother Andre has made clear is that you then give the person or the situation control over you. Yeah. In that if you don't get that sorry, then what it is that you want to do. But that's nice. We insist that the children learn to say they're sorry. Right? And so that's it. Yeah. One other little thing, I get myself in danger, but I think it's Mr. Carmen. Remember the latitude piece, right? Where you're thinking, I didn't take the notes, I didn't do it. Remember that it is possible that some of that talk could also now be undermining your capacity to really take charge and to some of the things yourself. Yeah. So I just want to, and just use that because you raised it, but just generally for us, is that understand that we have a lot more power over our thoughts, our words, and our deeds than we think. That's my big takeaway from it again, is that reinforcement that you can actually do more than you think. We don't have to wait until we do the bad thing to say, or we don't have to find ourselves in a mood that we don't know where it comes from and it's hanging over us. We can do something about it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Not as powerless as we think.
Yeah.
All right. Last word. These sessions are sponsored, part of the outreach of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. You can, in fact, get the content. All our content is at St. Andrew Church of Christ.org/media. We are also on YouTube. It's YouTube/C/Simply Christians JA. And we're also on Facebook, Simply Christians JA. Please join us online at the same Zoom link tomorrow at 9 o'clock for our worship. And now that we have more space, we meet at 77 Redlands Road, so you can actually join us physically in our worship service at 9 o'clock. And our Bible class is at 10. Sorry, that sounds wrong. 11:15 tomorrow using the same link. Tomorrow's Father's Day, so we probably would not have a Bible class. But on Tuesday, we meet at 6:30.
No, this can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Could you mute your mic? It is happening. It is happening. So let me mute your mic for you. All right. So that's it. Thank you very much. We will meet again on the first Saturday in July then, which is the 3rd of July. 3rd of July, we will announce the session. And if you're getting any benefit from this, or if you know anybody who will get benefits from this, please share. We will use the same link and we'll meet again on the 1st and the 3rd Saturdays every month. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Smith, so I can come in first on Sunday. You have space for that? A space for me?
Yes, 77 Redlands Road.
Me know where your church is, you forget? Me say we have space.
I know. I'm talking to other people, Sherry. Some come.
Oh, because no, to me, I ask if space is there for me because we don't have space.
Yes. We will make the space for you.
Me not for register first or anything like that? No? Call you guys to register them for me?
Brother Andre is a key man, and he said that you can go under his arm. We're good. You can make it. It's all right. Come.
Yeah, but
okay.
Also,
if we ever send home somebody, we'll send home somebody for your space.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks. Love this.
Bye-bye.
Great job.
God bless. Thanks, Papa. Thanks, Brother Smith.